Now, other players might say that you can one-shot Archons in Warframe pretty easily using a specific setup, and you might see a couple of guides already giving you the builds on how to one-shot these Archons in the game, but the reality is that it might be harder than it looks, as some may just show you the flawless run that they had in one Archon Hunts, and they haven't shown you the full picture of the run. The fact is, it's 100% accurate that you can one-shot stage one of the Archon fight every time. But the second phase after unlocking the barrier through collecting Deacon Veils is a different scenario. It takes a lot of finesse and practice to speedrun the Archon Hunt, especially if you are just new to the game mode and don't know what is happening. Okay, let me tell you the things you need to know so you can one-shot the Archons in the game. First of all, you would need a weapon with high base damage, and you have to prioritize modding it with multi-shot mods. Multi-shot is normally included in the damage attenuation formula for calculating the damage per second, but is exempted from Archons for some reason. Basically, you would want to stack high amounts of multi-shot from mods and even augments to increase your damage against Archons in the game. Secondly, it's not all about putting as many damage mods in your build, since there's this thing called soft damage reduction in Archon Hunts. Independent of the damage attenuation formula, many Archon Hunters have indicated that separate burst DPS phases deal more damage than continuous fire. This has been confirmed to be the case. Specifically, dealing excessive damage beyond the soft cap on Archons will deal reduced damage, causing ammo inefficiency as each additional bullet does less than the last. You can see a huge difference in damage if you compare Incarnon-formed Fenmore to a Kuva Hek, as most likely the shotgun will deal massive damage in a single hit compared to Fenmore. Lastly, you should take note that body multiplier applies in Archon Hunts. Basically, you would want to do headshots all the time to maximize your damage against Archon Hunts. Honestly, this is where I always fail, as I got spoiled by the nuke meta. In most cases, I missed the headshots in Phase 2 fight against the Archon, especially against Nero that has a snake for a head. You may see players always finishing the Archon Hunts in less than 5 minutes, as they are very good in doing headshot damage in the Phase 2 of the Archon Hunts, and most of the time they are holding Kuva Hek and always using its alternate fire for high burst damage and multi-shot. If you successfully land a headshot using the alternate fire of Kuva Hek in both Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Archon Hunts, then you are one of solo speedrunners of Archon Hunts in the game. But for an average players like me, who don't want to speedrun the Archon Hunts, and usually waste 8 minutes or more in the game mode just to farm Archon shards, then let me tell you the things you need to not fail the mission and do it in a chill way. Honestly, speedrunning the Archon Hunt is a great achievement, but it's not a requirement since Archon Hunt is a weekly mission, and you don't get anything else from running the mission repeatedly at the fastest time possible. But wait, why do you even bother to farm Archon shards? The fact is, it is better to get Archon shards for each Warframe to mean max builds than to removing it from another Warframe. Archon shard removal is costly, and bile resources for me is quite annoying to farm. You would need to get thermal sludge into the valleys, or get nav coordinates and argon crystal in the void using a crate breaker Saku build. It's just personal preference, but I am very lazy of farming things in the game right now that yields only specific resources. Like I've said earlier, the best one-shot weapon against Archon in the game is the Kuva Hek. All you need to do is mode this weapon with lots of multi-shot mods, then lots of critical damage, and then pair it with some elemental which will give you radiation, and then primed point blank for more damage. Also, you might wonder why I added the primed Chilling Grasp in this build. This Kuva Hek build is exclusive for Archon Hunts, and element damage can further increase your damage against Archons. In addition, you can proc cold with this mod setup, allowing you to gain more multi-shot and critical damage with the help of the primary Frostbite Arcane. In the Exilus mode slot, you can go for more critical chance with the help of a Vigilante mod, but for this case, I have the Silent Battery to negate the noise of the gun and make it good with a Prowl Ivara. As we have discussed earlier in the video, headshot damage is crucial against Archon Hunts, and remember that Ivara has the ability to increase headshot damage with her Prowl ability. With Ivara subsumed with the Helminth ability of Reno named Roar, it's always a guarantee that you can one-shot the Archon with the alternate fire of the Kuva Hek once you landed a headshot on it. As you can see, I only have 210% power strength in this Ivara build, but the increase in damage for Roar is enough, given that I also have increase in headshot damage with my Prowl ability. Now, there are other methods to increase the damage of your gun by using the Madurai Focus Void Strike, but usually this is used by those speedrunners who are playing Wukong, and mind you, this is way harder to pull off as you would need to be precise on each shot, and you also need to activate Void Strike once you are like 100 to 70 meters away from the Archon. What Wukong main always do is to have a build with Raw, then mode it with lots of power, strength, and duration. Then, they use the same mod for Archon hunting Kuva Hek. In the mission, they will rush to the objective using their Cloud Walker and then activate Raw and Madurai Void Strike once they are close to the Archon. After that, all they needed to do is deal a headshot blow to the Archon and move on to the next phase. This method will help you run the Archon hunts way faster because of Wukong's insane mobility, but like I have said, it's harder to pull off since you would need to guarantee a headshot always on the Archons, since Void Strike has a low duration, and you would need its buff to increase the damage of your Kuva Hek as an alternative to the headshot damage multiplier of Ivara's Prowl. You might have an 80% chance of one-shotting the Archon in Stage 1, but it will be hard to do it on the final fight since the Archon will be aware of your presence. I don't know if you noticed this, but try to move around in Stage 1 using a stealth Warframe like Ivara, Ashe, or even Loki. You will notice that there is little to no activity from the Archon, that you can literally take your time sniping his head and landing that killing headshot blow. While the final fight is different. Try the same shit and you will be surprised that the Archon will do one of its super moves or even summon those annoying sentients. I also tried activating Ivara's Prowl at the start of the mission and not even using my operator's Void Dash for mobility. My main goal was to see if not breaking my stealth will somehow change anything at the final battle against the Archon. Sadly, it did not do anything and the same scenario had happened. Amma summoned his sentience and then cast his mirror image. This is why being stealthy don't work every time in this game mode. Don't ever think that you are safe because the Archons can't see you as in the final stage of the fight. They will throw random bullshit at you, and those Narma Grineers, and as well as sentience, will also make the fight harder. Wukong is different though, as you can rush both Stage 1 and final battle. But like I have said, you will need to be precise in your 2 shots to finish the mission at the fastest time possible. While Ivara is a great Warframe for Archon Hunt because of the headshot, multiplier and stealth, I still prefer the very chill method of doing this mission with Revenant Prime. With Revenant's Mesmer skin, you will have no problem surviving in this game mode, and there's no chance that you would die while playing this Warframe against Archons. In addition, you can further boost the damage of your gun with the Thrall Pact mode and subsuming Rhino's Roar into the Warframe. And then you can just slap power, strength and duration mods into the Warframe and you are good to go. What I usually do with this is I cast Enthrall against enemies when I am closing in to the Archon to boost my weapon damage. Then I cast Roar and let my Kuva Hek rip. Also, I have my trusty Laertum to deal with the Sentients and the Deacon, and then I have my Stropha to deal with the Aerolists when I'm facing Archon Boreal. The good thing about this gun blade is it can 1 or 2 shot the canisters of the Aerolist, allowing you to make them vulnerable fast. Aka Plasmor, Fulmin Prime, and even Catch Moon Kit Gun will do. But I have no room for these guns since my primary is for Kuva Hek, while my secondary is for Letom. Now Kuva Hek is a requirement to one-shot the Archons, but if you don't care about it, then there's an alternative to this weapon, and that is the Phalanx. The same modding concept can be applied to the Phalanx, and what I like about this Incarnum gun is it fully utilizes the benefit of primary frostbite. Not to mention that every normal shot you make will slow the Archon, allowing you to aim and kill it faster. It's not a heavy hitter like the Kuva Hek, but it gets the job done in Archon hunts. By the way, if you want to give the Phalanx the best damage, then you might need to get rid of any critical mods in your build so you can take advantage of its Devouring Attrition perk that gives 2000% bonus damage to your shots. I have tried modding for critical chance, and even boosted the critical of the weapon with the Crit and Status perk, but the one that has low critical deals the best damage against Archons in the game. While I like Kuva Hek as it deals massive damage to the boss sometimes, I just prefer the Phalanx as it does the job done without worrying about the slow reload speed of Kuva Hek and the headshot requirements, since it's easier as you can stack cold to slow the Archons, allowing you to aim its head much easier. So there you have it. I hope that you can use this piece of information in your next Archon hunt, This is the most updated guide of doing Archon hunts in Warframe at the moment, but rest assured that I will update it once there will be changes for a more foolproof guide in doing the Archon hunts in Warframe. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.